Well, it is called
Where
the climb and fall for a reason.
Yeah. I'm right now very much in the middle of the fall part of it.
Okay. And this was a frustrating loss. Now I'm gonna open up this coaching by talking about the end game a little bit. Because to get through Silver, I think it doesn't necessarily matter too much what you play, but making sure that you as a champion are involved in as much of the game as possible is very important. With Nocturne, it's very easy to become a flying pigeon. You know, you fly into the enemy team thinking you're going to do damage like an eagle, and you just explode. And you're dead.
Yeah, that was...
Is that a prescient statement?
It feels my Nocturne play right now is one of two things. I'm either kind of Freddy Krueger, everyone's nightmare, or yeah, I'm the clay pigeon that flies in and gets blown up.
There you go. Finally, someone gets it. So, okay, for me, two things. You're against the Rammus, which means your life's going to suck later on. So,
Yup.
I would really be looking very heavily to make sure that we can farm efficiently. So this is nice, because the coaching before this was about ganking with some new farms. Now you are the farmer, and Rammus is indeed going to be the ganker. And actually, his name almost looked like it was actually called Indeed, but it's called I Need E. So I think getting out of the gates here to put a ward in the river. I know in Hilo, everyone sees the 5-point defense. You know, you go topside, you leave a ward, you reset, you get your scanner, yada yada. I don't feel like this is as important as simply stifling and seeing stuff in low elo. You know, putting a ward here instead of just sitting on your red. That's just general principle. Second thing is if they went for this invade and you weren't here, you wouldn't see this. But fortunately, your Zareth is actually guarding an entrance, which is a miracle as in and of itself. But watch very carefully the Heimerdinger. You see that movement means 100%. I'm assuming he warded, and we can see that he did. That movement for him towards the bush means it's warded. So for you, the big problem is you're just chilling here, and they're getting all sorts of information about you as well, specifically. How do you plan on going about the early game?
So,
Question
typically on Nock, what I'll do, I almost always start strong side with my bot lane.
Yeah.
I'll usually, on red side, I would go red, raptors, wolves, kind of figure out Gromp blue or gank, but usually top lane is always my first gank, regardless of which side I start on.
Considering there's no TP and it's a Maokai, the Renekton should feast on him with you. So we're looking to 5 camp, okay.
Yes.
My only concern Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, but this ended up being a really just back and forth game, and yeah, everyone can cringe at my poor smite choices along the way, but...
It's alright. It's only because they're probably looking in the mirror, don't worry about it. Sorry, Twitch, I didn't mean to blame you. Why go from red to Raptors to Krugs?
I've done this a few times, and having no real discernible logic behind it, it always feels a bit of a gut feeling move. Where I can hit 3 here and then throw bot lane a gank, which I normally don't do, but I decided, because this was in the mix of my free fall, that maybe I should switch things up a little bit.
Yeah, that's good. I do it as well. I get hooked on things like volley, 3 camp invades, and killing the jungler. Life things go badly, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll start ganking again. So I feel it. But yes, the most important thing for me is that you went red, Raptors Krugs, and then immediately said, because I want to gank bot. And that's exactly when you would do it. It's also very nice if this is warded at 1 minute and you see someone's taking your stuff, it gives you a really nice drive into the blue side jungle as well. I feel like it gives you really nice flex, because at this point you should see, okay, I saw the invade, I saw the Heimerdinger warded. My Renekton is a beautiful soul. Thank you so much for placing this ward here. Again, this should be on you. If you are against a Shaka, if you're against a Graves, 100%, I know I said you should watch the invades, which again you should. But at the same time, it's very important that you place this ward at 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute. You go to your blue, you go and watch your entrance right here very nicely. If there's an invade, you know, you fight it out, you alpha, you win, maybe you back off, up to you, depending on team comp. But ideally, like in the Echo video I just put out yesterday, you can press B, you know, and you can place the ward without canceling your B, so it can maximize your timing. You can go back at like 54, and as it dings 1 minute, you place your ward here, you hit the base, you can swap to a scanner and go to your red. Okay? So the point of me saying that is that you would be in the exact same situation as you are now, except you have total control over watching this invade. Because if Renekton didn't ward, what would you be thinking?
I would probably be thinking, okay, I either, you know, finish up, Krugs go gank bot, or hey, let's go sweep up to the blue side, finish my 5 camp, and I would get there and say, oh, I have no blue buff. Stupendous.
which is what happens, and it does make you very sad. Let me just check the exact state. 44% attack speed. Rammus enjoys that. Yeah, you would most likely climb up here and basically see everything's gone, but that's sort of a secondary issue. What lanes do you feel are gankable pre-6 opportunistically? Because obviously you're a farming jungler, you're looking for ultimate, you're not looking to force ganks early, but what lanes would you be keeping an eye on for gankability?
Hypothetically, I thought mid and bot were the 2 best ones in this case.
Mid.
Alistar's engage combined with Kai'Sa should be able to use her mobility, and then Heimer would be perma-shoving into the Xerath.
But the problem with you have a spell shield, which I think gives you... Ooh, come on. Yes. Okay. Alright. The Q missed, but you got the movement speed passive, so you're good to go. Don't overgreed this.
Yeah.
Sing a little song. Yeah, that was a little tight. Okay, so mechanics out of the way. I like it. Good. Unfortunately, your bottom lane died. You come and you get the gank. Now, it's important, and I guess this is sort of part of making yourself a better player. While you do this, before you do this, you should still be able to see this. What level is he? Level 2. How many CS does he have? You press tab, you see 12. That means that this guy has done red, Raptors, blue. Immediately you know this. Like, this is... You know, because if he did red, Krugs, blue, he'd be level 3. But because he did red, Raptors, blue, he's only level 2. So now already you know exactly what camps he took, you know exactly when he took them, and you know exactly where he is. And I think if he's a ganking jungler, and you're a farming jungler, that's all we need to know. So I don't know how often you're tracking with CS or sort of noticing this stuff, but I would say it's good to sort of drive home this, because it's going to come back in a few minutes, I think.
Yeah, I've been, after watching a lot of Yours and Kingstix's videos, I've been doing my best to keep track of the level vis-a-vis actual camp numbers, but I'm not good at it.
No one's good at it in the beginning. You know, that's just, I'm around jungling all the time, so I just, you know, it's very quick. And obviously, once you know it, it's easy, right? Because
it becomes second nature.
Yeah, if you are curious about that and sort of just hammering the principle home, the jungle roots video I did, I think 2 months ago now, like every jungle route you need to know, covers a lot of that sort of what camps give you what experience. So just rewatching that to put that sort of knowledge into the bank is a good idea, just because then it makes this tracking much easier as well.
Okay.
Right. Now that you know, okay, that's great. Don't think you needed to exhaust. But because we saw Rammus go up, I think here I'm still relaxed enough that I might want to just go for this crab. I don't think enough time will pass for Rammus to collapse on you. Bot lane is either dead or back in base. And Heimerdinger doesn't show any interest. At the same time, you don't have flash, but you have Q to escape. You have the spell shield. So I think retreating here is a little bit too
passive.
It's too passive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too passive. Because at this point, what we want to look to do, ideally, is take this crab and still take his blue. We want to take the crab first to give us HP and mana back, and then we want to start the blue and kite it down. The reason why we want to do that, and also because you don't have a scanner and you have a trinket, we can slap that here if it's up. that depends on if it's up or not, depending on your warding tactics in the early game. The reason for that is, the reason that you pull it down and you ward up is because bottom lane might feel, hey, Nocturne went up to do crab. Maybe Nocturne is stealing blue. So the last thing you want to do is, sort of be caught doing blue in this bush. That's like your whole house falling down while you're taking a shower. It's not pleasant.
Yeah,
so,
it's not what you want.
There's not what you want. But I feel like we're sort of being way too passive with our decision making afterwards. Now, he hasn't shown again. And I didn't know where he was. All I knew was that he did blue into potentially Gromp. Now, your vision died before we got to see him either finish or not finish the Gromp. Which is interesting.
Yeah, I think he started walking towards the Gromp, and that was right when the actual ward expired.
Exactly. So for all you know, he did your Gromp. And I would be in the same boat as you here in this situation. I would assume he did your Gromp. Let's see. And yeah, he goes here. Now, you're in the middle of a gank. So I'm not gonna lie to you, this would be missed by most people. He actually left in the vision. We see it. But I'm looking at this gank as well. You're not gonna see that unless you've got Faker levels, Toby Eye Tracker sponsored MOBALYTICS in your brain, Yeah, and
at least usually with Rammus was kind of my first ever jungler, quote unquote. Gromp was always miserable to take at low level.
Yeah.
So I guess, obviously, hindsight being what it is, I should have thought that he went down and took the chickens.
But that again, that is hindsight. But I don't think it matters. At this point, I think, from your perspective, I'm assuming the guy's still on the top side. I'm assuming he's going to want to take this top crab. I'm assuming that most likely he will either show ganking mid or top lane. Depends who's pushing and pulling. Or do his Krugs before resetting. I think it's highly unlikely that he will ever sort of do this, ignore this crab, go back to base just to cut you off. And even if he does, you should be able to get in and out easily. Because at this point, right, our goal is to make sure through farming that we are ahead. And the fact that you've had lane presence before him and gotten a kill means you are primed to take over the game. Because it's a quick level 6. So in my universe here, we've taken this, we're taking the blue. Let's just slap on the fog of war. You've got the plant as well. When he doesn't show up, if you are feeling particularly cheeky, and if you know where he is, there's two conditions. Feeling cheeky is a good one because it's a little bit of a greed play. But if he shows on a gank, say here or here, then 100% you can say, okay, thank you for showing. I take Gromp and I take Wolves. That's all you need, right?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Right. It does.
If he doesn't show, I think taking blue and getting out's the best call because your Alistar's gone back to base and they're coming back to lane. So, we don't want to overstay. So those, I think, are your two choices after this gank, which was well played, by the way. Good decision making. So, great decision to gank this after knowing there's an invade. Whether it was 100% the strategic decision we want to make it out to be, you can debate that internally in your mind. But I like the flow of the clear into the gank. I just think you should have not stopped there. You had this beautiful scuttle into blue, into maybe taking a Gromp you can kite down onto the bush. And if you do that and he shows on a lane, all of a sudden your Alistar's back in lane, Jinx and Senna are back in lane, and you can repeat gank the bottom lane, right? Now you can go back to base.
Okay.
So now instead of just 3 camps and a gank, you've got 3 camps, another 2 camps of his, a crab, and a second gank. You've literally doubled your haul before going back to base.
Okay, then yeah, at that point I'm probably a level 5, probably even pushing 6 at that point.
You would be very close. I don't think you'd be 5, but you'd be very damn close. Yeah. It would depend if you pushed the wave or not, but I understand the volatility of the silver mind in terms of junglers touching waves. You touch my minions, AFK.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Secondly, if this gank wasn't available for whatever reason, after you do this counter jungling, you can of course look mid, but this sucker's tough to gank. At least you have spell shield. If you time it correctly on the stun, you're fine. But if he gets the stun off, you're screwed. So that'll come down to your mechanics. So, either way, you go back to base. I think you're feeling okay. What are you anticipating to find on the top side of this jungle? Like, you've gone to top side now very clearly. What is your purpose in life?
I figured my blue is probably gone. Gromp is there, and I can gank into the Renekton Maokai lane.
I like it.
That was kind of my ideal world.
I like it. I like that you're scanning too. I talk about this a lot in chat because people get counter jungled where you know the Rammus was here, and what happens is they leave a deep ward and they don't scan it, and then you go for the top lane gank, except everyone has seen what you're doing and you get screwed. So I like that you're actually scanning here. Okay. I like that you gank Grump first because it gives you level 4, which gives you better stonks on the top lane. Oh, baby. Oh.
Yeah. That tree is so godforsakenly tanky.
I play Maokai, but that missing is what stops you getting the kill. This Q does no damage to him, right? So
yup.
You get the MS proc, which is great. And also, secondly, I think you mistakenly upgraded W instead of Q. So I actually can't see the upgrade. Oh, shift to see more info. Thank you very much, League of Legends. So that would be 110 base damage, plus 20% movement speed, plus an additional 30. This is I'm not doing this to make you feel bad. I'm just saying that the cost of a micromechanical mistake, even in silver, can be devastating for your lead, because if you upgrade this and hit it right 1000%, and for the sticklers in chat, I know that's not possible. You could very easily, sorry, I hit the mic. You could very easily kill him here without. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead here. He's dead. So your Renekton doesn't have to flash. He's dead right now. He's gone. GG. And now your Renekton flashes. And again, that's unlucky. That's a little unlucky. But at the same time, hopefully you're on my wavelength there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm almost 100% of the time.
Are you sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. Oh god, watching this is actually kind of painful. Even
Are you juicing his wave?
Yeah, I don't know why I thought Singed does this. It'll totally be helpful, and yeah, not quite so much.
Hey,
But,
I mean,
yeah, I almost probably 95% of the time always Q-max first, so I'm not completely sure what I was.
No. It happened to me the other day too. It's just a fat finger. It's just a fat finger, but making sure that's I don't know if you click. If you click, then you should swap into that sort of control or alt pressing that thing, so it's much more reliable. Because sometimes you can swing down and click, and it's like you swing down and you click the wrong thing by accident. But if you're like, in my case, I press Alt Q, it just guarantees that I upgraded.
Yeah, for me, I actually have, and this is from playing way too many FPSs, my actual skill set to WASD.
Yeah.
But to actually, I guess, do the level up, it's still a Control Q, Control W. So I'm wondering if no excuses. It's a thing that happens. You've accidentally upgraded the wrong ability. You're human. I mean, I'm 33 next year. I'm expecting to do it more often than not. Yeah.
The only thing is, I think you lost so much in these two plays, even though you had the right plays. It's you went to rob the bank and you decided that the second bag of money was too heavy, so you left it. It was like you went through all the effort of robbing the bank and getting away with it, but you only got half the potential outcome. So now you have to figure out a way to rob another bank. Just like, instead of being made for life, you were made for 5 years, and now you got to do it again.
Understood.
It's the best way I can put it.
Makes sense. I think I'm what's his face, Professor Snape from Die Hard, but I'm more so Joe Pesci from Home Alone.
Joe Pesci from Home Alone. Oh, that's run, Kaiser, run. So from the jungle tracking, so you said obviously you're having difficulty, or not, just sort of you're working on it. For jungle tracking.
Yeah. Because
you didn't steal all this stuff and yoink all of these things. And on that note, the Heimerdinger rotating and yoinking the Krugs is upsetting. But that's because you sat in the wave. So I think it's unrealistic to expect to sit in the wave and proxy without any sort of retaliation. But once you've done this and you go back to base and he's taken your stuff, and because he doesn't show anywhere, most likely at this point, what's left for him to do? Hit his blue side camps. So while you're off doing your business in the top wave here, I think shoving this with the Renekton instead of proxying is great. And now moving on down to, I would leave a baby Krog, personally. So, Heimerdinger only rotates because you proxy, yes?
Yes.
Because of our tracking early, and I'm going to build on that extension. We saw the Rammus doing your blue, 8 CS, level 2. He takes the blue, he gets 12 CS, but he's still level 2. That means he did Raptors. So for you, and this is what I saw in the previous coaching, the Raptor camp is level 4. It has spawned again. So this is the most valuable counter jungling camp that you can have right now.
Okay.
Did you see where it sort of tags? You know, like step 1 is tracking early, and I said it's going to pay off later. Now is where it pays off. Okay, so if it gets too out there, then you can let me know. But by noticing this, okay, and knowing that he did this camp as well, by ganking top lane and knowing that he stole your blue as well as your wolves, this guy now is going to feel compelled to go to the only place on the map that's open for him, taking his blue, right?
Yes.
Which means, once you shove this wave, and ideally kill him, go down, and you should feel comfortable taking his Krugs, but leave the baby. Because it's level 1. If you leave the baby...
it doesn't give him the free respawn at a higher level.
Exactly. Then, because you didn't proxy and sort of taunt their faces, Heimer's still in the mid-wave. So you get to do this camp, and you can smite this. You don't need to smite this, you can just simply go down and smite this and take this whole camp. Take the whole thing. So, the next time this guy comes to the top lane, he's gonna say, right, time for... Oh, there's a baby and it's level 1, so he's gonna have to take it level 1, right? And 2 minutes later, it will respawn, but for now, he's screwed. And then when he goes to the Raptors, you've eaten him already. Haha. You know? So I feel like there was 2 opportunities to counter jungle, and 1 opportunity to make sure that the Maokai dies. And I think if you would have done that, you would be in total control. You'd feel very comfortable. Does it make sense?
It does.
Does the tracking stuff make sense as well? Because I know sometimes I go a bit...
It does. Like I said, it's something that I've been working on getting better at. But I think at this point, I've been playing League for probably a year and a half now. Maybe 6 months of that has actually been now going as a jungle main.
Okay. Yeah, it's experience. Yeah. I just want to raise it. You'll have the VOD and everything, so you can listen to it back. I just want to raise it as something that's so huge in terms of how you as a jungle scale and get level 6 as soon as possible, while also stifling a ganking jungler such as the Rammus. He ganked bottom lane. If we were doing all the tracking stuff, you know, ping it. They're not going to notice, but ping it anyway. Also, I don't know if you know this, but you see this Q goes over the wall? Here?
Yes.
They can see that. This is red team vision, by the way. They can see that. You see?
I've actually never even thought of that.
And the thing is, with Vi E's, it's the same thing. You see Vi E's all the time over the wall. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Not if you're the Nocturne. If I'm against you, it's beautiful because I can see it. But yeah, so always make sure you're hitting the camps in a way that your ability doesn't go over the wall because he sees it. And you can see the ping go through even. Which is very... You know what's actually shocking is that the Rammus has noticed this. So I can tell already that this Rammus is clicking or using F keys. Great. That's very good. Very good. And he's pinging the dragon because he thinks you might go on the dragon. So that little show, and again, I think it's unlikely that it will happen a lot in Silver, but he's noticed it, and now he's going to try and play around what he thinks you're going to do. So I think you gave him a little too much information, but that's more of like, hey, by the way, FYI.
Understood.
Yeah. It sucks, right? But yeah, just make sure that Q isn't going into the mid lane. Especially, I mean, if it's pushed all the way back up, it's fine, right? It's just because he had vision in a shoved wave.
Understood. I guess I realized it did go through terrain. I never even thought about it effectively as me waving a giant flag saying, hey, I'm right here.
You would be level 6 now. And he has no mana. I would be careful of Rammus, but that's actually a nice gank. Help him shove. He's very low. Okay, Rammus is top side. Rammus is top side. Their bot lane is chunked, and you've taken the vision. This should be like a knee-jerk whiplash swing to the dragon.
Okay.
Why is she warding
Yeah,
it?
I think I at times over prioritize red and blue buff whenever they're up, potentially to my own detriment.
Rammus is top lane and she wards the dragon in case Rammus is soloing the dragon. I mean, what? Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. This is huge. If you can get 6 from red, you have enough time to get 6 from red and do the dragon by hitting the plant. But because he's top lane. But in this case, you're nowhere near 6, and dragons have catch-up experience. Dragons and heralds and so on have that. If they are a higher level than you, you get compensated by getting extra experience from them. It's a thing that was in the jungle all the time in the past, because what would happen is farming junglers would get so screwed by being counter-jungled that by farming camps that were a higher level, it was a way for them to... It was a comeback mechanic, right? A comeback mechanic to help you get back into the game if things were just worse than 2020, except in League. Now,
Okay.
they removed it because they reduced the timers of the camp. Like, camps were spawning every 2.5 minutes, so it made sense. They made the camps for Season 10 spawn every 2 minutes. So because camps are more frequent, they're spawning more frequently, so they took away the catch-up experience. However, dragons, I believe, unless but I'm 99% sure they still have it. So this dragon spawns always at level 6. So for you, you're a bit behind at the moment. That would be nice. Very nice, in fact. And it's an ocean, so we like those. So as soon as he does that, right, you should be on this dragon, and now you can afford to go do your red, and you should be close. You should be 6. I would hazard you would be close to 6, or at least 6. Okay. I don't have the math out. And I think pinging, like... But, I mean, it should be dead already, because you had bottom lane prior, and the Kaiser here, they would have done it with you. Like a shepherd to the sheep. You know, you start it, as they move up, they have no choice but to attack it. They're like, yes, this looks good. I accept. And they help you.
Okay. So yeah, I should have just, when we still had Prio, taken the Drake, then pulled back into my red side.
Yeah. And now you got pushed off of it, just go to the camp that's up. The camp that's up is Raptors. Because you've been setting up a Raptor to Krug sequence, which means Raptor spawns and Krug spawns. Raptor spawns and Krug spawns. Don't waste any more time than you have. Just go do the Raptors, hit the Krugs again because they'll be up, and now you can lane gank ult the bottom lane if it looks juicy.
Okay.
But don't wait here because this is now waste.
Yep.
The bottom lane's like, leave us alone. And the problem is the Rammus is just getting away with taking all your camps. Like, this guy, as slow, like, he's only up 3 CS, but if this was a Lilia or a Hecarim, you would be down, or an Evelyn, you'd be down like 16, 20 CS by now.
Yeah, I think Hecarim is almost always my auto-ban playing as not.
Yeah, that's fine. Most people ban him. Like, this 100% should have been a dragon. The roam's here. Oh, okay, you want to go for it? We'll go for it. But, as I said, you have to spell shield the stun. Yeah, that's a mechanical play. Like, you have to spell shield the stun, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Like, chat, I just, like, I don't like fighting Heimerdingers. They make me uneasy. I play melee champions. It never goes well. If I'm Zyra, I just one-shot the sucker right now. But, you know, like, if I'm a melee, I'm just so afraid of taking these fights. You can smite the turrets as well, by the way, so... You didn't have a smite up, but if you have a smite up, you can smite one of the turrets, and you can smite the crab.
Yeah, so I have some not-so-great habits that fall into the Silver Realm, and one of them is I will spam ping people at times, to my own detriment, but...
Hey, don't worry, I would have spam pinged them too. But at the same time, we shouldn't be taking the fight, right? Oh! Look at this!
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that Heimer roam is so good. So,
Yep.
from your perspective, how do we avoid this? Okay, we're taking Raptors. Watch the Heimer. Only on the map. Watch the Heimer. We're gonna keep it on Nocturne, but just watch the Heimerdinger. Nothing else. Where's he going? Straight to river. straight to river. So you immediately have to say, uh-oh, if we run into each other, he's level 8, I'm level 6. Uh-oh. So, like,
I guess I inherently thought that the Xerath was either going for some cheeky, in the bush, I don't know his exact abilities, but QWE or what have you.
those are them, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. His E is the stun I think you were looking for, the one that actually locks him down.
Yes.
And once he's hit that, it's very easy to hit a W, which slows, and then you can hit the Q, and of course you can just hit a Q and he dies. Yeah, I see what you're looking for, but you should see that his power thing is going back now. And also you see this again. So for me, you need to immediately, as quickly as possible, just go long way.
Okay.
You should also have a plant here as well. So whatever gets you to the top lane as soon as possible, so you can activate your ultimate, so you can clean the hell out of that Maokai. Because he has flash, and trust me, he will most likely flash as you're in the air, which is always fun. Could be bad, but I still think you should be able to kill him with an immediate ult touch, and then hit your Q backwards, use your spell shield on the Rammus taunt, and then just get the hell out. Like, you don't need to get into a fist fight with the Rammus. You could if you were ahead enough, but at the same time, this guy's rotating, so I think here we're just looking to clean up the Maokai and bounce. You're not looking to overstay too much. But I think here you locked onto a certain play, and the problem was your Xerath didn't see it, and so, you know, sadness.
Yep. And here comes me burning my ultimate, thinking I've got it. Yeah.
When he gets the kill, obviously, but I don't like to talk about that. Like, that's just ends. It's like, yeah, you got the kill. It's fine. It's not. I feel like we should have had a better lead than that. Yeah, you should be at like 60, 70 CS already. And the Rammus should be stifled.
Yeah. Really looking at this now makes me realize just how many goof-ups I had this game.
Well, you know, I like that because... I don't like that one. But I like the goof-ups here, and here, and here, and here at the dragon, because those are very actionable for you. It's very easy to fix. You see? It's... Instead of option 1, what's option 2? You know, top lane, instead of option 1, what's option 2? And instead of defaulting just to sort of what seems correct, you can think, oh, what else could I do? Because in jungle, there's almost always 2 options to a decision, and that's why it sucks to analyze and coach sometimes, because every coach in jungle has a different perspective on what we should prioritize, what we should look at. People know me for camp sequencing and sort of objective control and macro, but, you know, it lends its hand to giving you priority on leads that let this not happen. Like, there should be no reason why your Xerath should be dying at this point, because this guy should be level 5, right? So everything we could have fixed, if you had done everything where the mistakes were fixed up to this point, you have a 2-level lead on this guy, and that would feel great. And the thing is, I hope you see that it was not that difficult, right? I hope.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, so far it feels like it's a lot of some hubris with me proxying the wave up top, and then it's some just sequencing issues when it comes to this Ocean Drake that should have been off the map.
It should have been
4 minutes ago.
Yeah, it should have been. For me, the nice thing is you're setting up that Raptors to Krugs sequence very well. You're rinsing that experience. It's great. The problem is because you've given up control of the blue side. Sorry guys, it's the scanner. Because you've given up Pry on the blue side, you've not had the option to fully sequence, which has again stifled your experience. You've essentially been a 1-quadrant jungler. You know, if there's 4 quadrants, 2 red sides, 2 blue sides, you've limited yourself to maximizing 1 red side quadrant, while only taking a little bit of your blue side, and the Rammus has had full control over the rest of the map. And that's exactly right what they're saying as well now, is I often talk about ping-ponging objectives, and by taking this dragon here, it would have given you 6 in red, which means you can ult bottom lane, which is I think what you wanted to do, right?
Yes.
And then you can reset, and because you've taken the dragon off the map, we can now try and take control of the Herald blue side and killing the Maokai again. And now, because that's very easy, right? What objective do I want to get? Herald. Okay, I go top side. You take top side, you take Herald, you take the Maokai. Maybe we use it. You reset, and now you say, what's the next objective? Ah, dragon. Okay, so now you head bottom side, you know, and you use your ult whenever it's up. But in this case, for me, we take the raptors. Let's sequence Krugs again. Why? Because when you gank with your next ultimate, you want to be as high as level as you can be, which is in this case 7. But most importantly, you've got 18 seconds on the cooldown. So there's no need to rush to the location before it's ready. It's good to set up, but we want to be level 7 and have the ult as well. It's very important. It's more important because you haven't leveled up 3 points into Q because of the mistake. So if you do this now, right, you can lane gank this. And as Nocturne, that's beautiful to do that because every time you've been bottom lane, there's been wards, which again, credit to the bottom lane. I don't see a lot of ward coverage like this. I've been in high diamond games this season where, you know, I'm pinging them, hey, by the way, the level 3 Rek'Sai's coming bottom lane, and they say, why didn't you gank? I'll say, because I'm level 5. So can you just ward? And they don't ward. But then when the enemy jungle, when the enemy bottom lane is warding, they are. And this is, in your elo, it's I think, annoying that every time you go there, there's vision. But at the same time, you have to adapt.
They're doing what they're supposed to.
They're doing what they're supposed to do, and you should now adapt your pathing to say, right, good job, you're warding, but I'm Nocturne, so I'm going to do my Krugs, get level 7, and I'm going to ping on the way. This guy's hopefully going to hit his combo, and then I'm going to ult you and you're going to die. And that would be your way back into the game, because by doing that, you can shove this and then take the dragon. So it's still not lost. You see? But by going down here... Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's... Looking at it, that's one thing that I really need to get better with, is just the actual kind of concept and addition of lane ganking, not even as a Nocturne thing, just across most champions.
Heimer's missing again. So, you... No, run away!
Yeah, oh god.
Speaking of ping-ponging, as Alistair ping-pongs Ramus.
Yeah.
So you got the gank off, you got what you wanted, but it could have been done while also taking a Krug camp. Which might not feel big, but is big every time it resets, right?
Yeah, and I think at this point, if memory serves, the only thing in my head is seeing the 3-0-2 Ramus and going, oh good god, this is gonna become a bit of a nightmare.
Especially that he went for that early Bramble Vest, which is very good.
Yeah.
Okay, now, what are you thinking at this point?
So, Brutal, at this point, there's probably a little bit of panic setting in. I think I'm trying to probably do my best to clear out my entire side of the jungle and actually make my way top for once. I think.
There's no dragon, and there's a herald play we want to make, so I think it's exactly right. We can take the Krugs, we can take the Raptors, we can take the Wolves, we can take the Gromp. There is a school of thought where you go directly top lane, but I think in this case, not having mid-prio, I think this is fine. Because we want to head top lane. I don't think you should fight him, though.
No.
No.
I kept thinking I could win these fights, and
I think I can win. I think I can win.
Yeah, there's no discernible logic as to why I thought that. Yep.
Yeah, I think mechanically my only suggestion would be just make sure the Qs are hitting, but practice. They're missing a little bit, which is it's your main damage spell, right? So we want to make sure we hit it, but
yeah.
The Xerath is being outroamed, but you would expect as such, as he's a Xerath, you know, he's not looking, he can't really afford to shove like that versus Ramus, so. Every time I get up, I think they're eating. Alright, we're back. Okay. That's a nice couch. Thank you. Okay. Are you here? Okay, good.
Yep, I'm here.
Right, sorry. Sometimes just can't happen.
Nature calls.
Nature calls, circle of life. Oh, you know. Hey, let's go. I mean, he was level 11 and you were level 8 and you just said screw it.
Yeah, I think I finally actually spell shielded his stun too.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge. It's huge. So for me, I like it. Although I'm gonna suggest you went up and then down into the gank. I feel like we could have done the same thing and then going up into the herald. Do you see? You left base.
So kind of.
Yeah, you left base, went into Gromp, used your ult being up again on the mid lane, and went down. Now the thing is, by getting a kill, and this is one of the statistics I was talking about, I'm going to do a talk about this on stream at some point, converting kills into objectives. That's a kill we should convert into an objective.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. And of course, you can always go top lane. How is Maokai destroying a Renekton this heavily?
I think this Renek, if memory serves, finishes something like 1, 9, and 7 or something.
I can see it. I can see it. Block it with his spell shield. But then he's not going to block the taunt. There's no winning.
So if this is what I vaguely remember...
I'm gonna throw some Virk frowns in the chat. There you go. Yeah. And frowns in the chat, please. That was extraordinary.
I think if this is the play I remember, it actually gets better.
Hey!
I don't know if Arambus's mouse died or if he just...
You did it! You did it! Good job, Zerath! Good job! 9 times Zerath. Jesus Christ. Okay, so memeing aside, 100%, if you go bottom lane, Raptor Camp, which is again high experience, we ult the Heimerdinger, we destroy his life, you go into the Herald, it's really good because, right, it's 15, it's past the time for plate usage, but actually you don't even have Herald. Hold on, is your ult up? Hey, then you don't even need to go farm, just go ult straight away. There's nothing to farm. We're behind. You're losing your camps. You've been counter jungled and almost outfarmed by a Rammus. So you basically now say, right, ult's up, use it. We can farm after. Farming junglers, you play around your ult timer. Kill him, go up to this. Because of all the fiesta up at the top lane, you know that the Rammus was just here. That means the Rammus is most likely going to go look to the bottom side. Now, obviously, I spoiled the genius because we saw him on the bottom side, so I apologize for that, but I would assume at this point he's on the bottom side, which means it gives you free Herald. Okay? And because you have a control ward, good job, and a scanner, you should be able to take this reasonably safely. This allows you then, if Rammus shows on the bottom side, to counter jungle all this stuff. Agreed?
Yes.
So again, this is like, you got a parallel universe where one you go top side, the other you go bottom side. The bottom side lets you ult, take Herald, counter jungle all of this, and then use the Herald on the top lane. The point of that is, not only does it get your Renekton a little bit back in the game, but because you take the tower, it forces him now to roam in order to impact the map. So, if he's not having the best game, let's just force him to have the best game. Now you can both go back together and then try and win a fight over this dragon. And if we had secured the first dragon, that would be your second dragon. So all of a sudden, in a game that's seemingly going wrong, and by the way, you still have a gold lead, you just broke it open into the mid-game with a beautiful ult and stun, a dragon, a full counter jungle, killing Maokai, breaking this top lane tower with a herald, and resetting to get the dragon. You follow?
Yes.
That is your mid-game play. That is what lets you say, right, I'm in control. Now, if we add that play into the fixing of all the mistakes you did earlier, you're no longer a flying pigeon. You're a literal rocket that explodes on impact. And it changes the nature of how you probably feel about your games.
Yeah.
Because we see the Rammus in the bottom lane here. But the point of having that objective control is that you can take control of the map like I just said.
Understood.
Yeah. So now a little bit waffling, because again, like, because you don't have total farm sequencing control, you've got one camp here, you got one camp here, Dragon might be coming up in like 90 seconds, there's a Herald and a Crab up, my Renekton's dead again, top lane's pushing, like, where do we go now? and it makes it very difficult because you don't have the control that we should have. Again, hopefully that follows.
It does.
So what are you looking to do now? I just gave you a whole bunch of hypotheticals, so...
Yeah, I'm trying to actually remember what I did here. I want to say it's Drake that I'm almost forcing them to get onto. Here's my favorite turtle.
Good night, sweet hedgehog. May you not sleep in peace. And you see, this is what I'm talking about. The Maokai, the game state is now elevated. By that I mean, it's sort of a thing I've been using recently. Just like people are starting to move around the map. The game is devolving into 5v5, macro, macaroni, it doesn't matter, it depends on the elo. Because in my universe you would have taken this herald and used it, the Maokai most likely would feel compelled to defend this herald, right? This means that instead of a Maokai, a wild Christmas tree in October, roaming down to the dragon, you'd have a leather belt crocodile on your side. You see? So by controlling that macro push, you also control the rotations of your team, being one step ahead of the enemy. And that's what elevating the game state is, and that's why we want to have control of it. Now, your bottom lane did it because you gave them a lot of attention. And trust me, they appreciate it, and your Kai'Sa seems to be doing good work.
Yeah, I think it was maybe at this point where even the Kai'Sa said, look, I can carry this game, we've got it, just keep me alive.
Agreed. Problem is, you are Nocturne. And if you're not ahead, what are you?
A giant flying pigeon that explodes.
I still kind of prefer Warrior, though. We didn't talk about that. I'm not a fan of like the extreme auto attacks because, you know, you're going to be auto attacking a Rammus. So, it seems, I don't know, I mean, it seems like you actually want to hurt Nocturne in some capacity because by auto attacking Rammus, he's going to hurt himself.
Yeah, I think when I saw both Maokai and Rammus, I ended up building first into, oh lord, the Executioner's Culling, Grievous Wounds AD item, whose name I was totally blanked on.
Mortal Reminder.
Thank you, yes.
It's my job to know certain items and forget others.
Valid.
I'm not a caster, so I don't feel the pressure, but sometimes it's nice to remember things. No, the reason I say the Warrior is because you really just want to explode Jinx and Senna. Your job this game, the win condition, and the guy in chat who asked the question, what's the win con? Thank you for asking, that was like an hour ago. Is can I annihilate Senna and Jinx such that they don't exist? Can you fight a Rammus toe-to-toe? No. And you went with Blood Razor, which, you know, nice percentage damage against some tanks, but at the same time, they're 3 squishies. You have a Renekton to disrupt, you have an Alistar to tank, you have a back line of a Xerath poking and zoning, and you have a Kai'Sa who can move around and peel for herself. Why the hell? She has Ignite, okay. So, just notice that. Where do you fit into that team fight? Where do you fit into this team fighting comp? You can either peel and go more tanky, but even then, we don't really want to be auto-attack. I mean, you want to auto-attack, but then you'd be fighting the Rammus, right? And if you're fighting the Rammus, the auto-attacks feel bad. However, I still...
sorry.
Yeah, just to finish the thought, he's going to rush Thornmail, so, you know, sad times for you. The best thing that you can do is make sure that Senna or Jinx die. Ideally both. Which means Warrior for a bit more explosion.
Understood. Yeah, that was one thing that I kind of watched piecemeal parts of this VOD earlier, where the second the game really goes into a 5v5 deathball fight, that's where we start to lose it. It felt even at these points when it's kind of these little like 3v3, 2v2 fights that we're able to, if not win outright, at least have a fairly strong edge. But the second it became a 5v5 game, it was just a bit of a clown fiesta.
Yeah, that's usually why coaching for jungling is the first 20 minutes. Because the rest is just team fighting and macro, and that's position agnostic. And also in like Plat and below, that's just who feels good on the day, who drank their Red Bull, who had their Monster.
Yeah.
Quote unquote sponsorship available. For me, you know, we've done a full clear here, and I think it's good that you finally did one. But we have the opportunity to really giga shove this lane, to use the Zoomer language, because you've got Maokai and Rammus duo pushing top lane, which means you've got a 5v3 in the mid lane, and you can just SKT 2013 down the mid lane. Does anyone remember that pro game? Inhibitor 12 minutes. You know, even if you don't go on this, you can just press R to scare the shit out of himself. Oh no, Nocturnard, and now he stops his back, he has to walk back, away. He's screwed. And honestly, a reason I looked at his HP, 363. Your ultimate does 425. So, he dead.
Okay, so if I was a little bit closer to Rammus's red side, it's just ult and blow him up.
Well, yeah. And of course you can spell shield as you approach, right? And then you can hit Q onto the Jinx to move around a bit, and the Alistar he's been looking ready, this guy's good to go. Really a nice cow. Will tank tower and make sure you get out alive. Obviously we have to factor in the armor, that's 55. You don't do true damage to him, so you probably have to hit a Q as well, maybe a smite, just to ensure the damage goes through. But if you have some lethality, and you have warrior, which you do, I think you kill him very, very easily. One shot him. So here is where your team is grouped making plays, and you're not. So if they get caught out here, and this is what I'm afraid of, if Rammus now rotates with Maokai, and everyone has a fight here, and you're not there, that loss is on you. That team fight loss is on you. Because yes, should they back out when they don't have numbers? Yeah. But they could also have numbers if you just decided to join them. You know what I mean?
Understood. And yeah, I think at this one that is
exactly
what happens.
There you go. And no Twitch chat, I haven't seen the replay. But this is a very big deja vu.
Yup.
I see this daily, even in high elo VODs. And that's exactly why I made the why you throw video. Because this happens every game. They push 2 top, the enemy team over pushes mid trying to compensate, and they just run down the river, say, what's up? And they flank and they kill them. And then someone's off split pushing and farming, which in this case is you. Yeah. So, okay. So macro-wise, let's pin that as a learning experience.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's nice that you got some farm.
Yeah, I'm now out farming the Rammus.
There you go.
Even though we're losing.
Positives. Silver lining.
Small victories.
Yeah,
I think we lose outer mid and secondary mid, if I recall here.
You should lose a lot from that play, yeah. It's a classic overstay. Now, hopefully, the first 20 minutes here that we've gone over really covers the boo-boos and the mistakes and the missed opportunities, but also a lot of the good positions you put yourself in. I think you put yourself in some great positions to have great leads, and I think that's the most important thing for you to take away from the early game.
Okay.
So, okay, I missed my Q. Okay, I missed the opportunity to counter jungle, but you were in the right spot to do it. So I think that's very good. And your first clear, while not, the biggest 200 IQ Ivern strats, was very simple and well executed. Red, Raptors, Krugs, gank bottom lane. And I like it. It's a Tilia route. Very nice. Has good payoff if you want to counter jungle or vertical jungle. So that was good. But as far as the end of this game goes, what would be the biggest moment that you have a question about in terms of... well, any questions about the last 20 minutes that are specific? Because obviously, I mean, it's back and forth, so what would be your biggest question?
I think as far as the way this game ends, thinking it's 45-43 or something as far as kill count going either way, is that kind of going the whole 5v5 fights weren't going for us. At this point, should I be almost looking at becoming more of the Tryndamere split pusher for my team and hope that they can kind of 4v5 and just stay alive and keep some pressure off while I take side lanes? Do I, become the super flanking, just go in, assassinate the ADC, hopefully too? And I guess effectively it's, as Nock, how can I still have positive influence for my team when the 5v5 is not structured for us to actually win?
Okay, so...
which I realize is a very... kind of...
yeah, I feel like part one of that we've answered. If you understand your own teamfight role, and itemized correctly, I think it's very clear. Make sure Jinx and Senna have to deal with you. And by doing that, you're going to force Rammus or Maokai to peel. By doing that, it allows the rest of your team to 4v2, 4v1, and create a nice sort of split team fight. And because you built Lethality, Edge of Night, AD, you should be able to at least one-shot or take care of someone. Assuming the early game went as we talked about. Now, if the team fight really is a finesse comp and it's just horrific to play around and it just seems doomed, then yes, split pushing can be your thing. The main thing for me would be, for example, in this case, don't be splitting top because the objective coming up is Dragon. So split push to the side that you can still be useful. You're not a top laner. You do have a semi-global ultimate. So by pushing bottom lane, and again, I'm not going to go into the how to split push. It take us 3 hours. So yeah, I would go into YouTube, make sure how to split push. I would watch a few videos on Trindamirs, on Nocturne splitting. What are they looking for? When did they fall back? When did they push again? There's a lot of feel, there's a lot of map reads, and there's a lot of macro understanding needed. So if you wish to specialize in that, there's good educational content on YouTube regarding that in general. But for you specifically, just make sure as a jungler, when there's a dragon up, okay, we're pushing. We're not pushing beyond vision. I'm keeping my ult up, I'm falling back, and making sure I am able to join my team for the objective. Okay? The goal for you for split pushing would be to create pressure that the enemy team is forced to react to so that you can leave and float on down to the objective. So, the split push, the point of a split push is to force numbers advantages somewhere else on the map so that you can win a fight that you couldn't if it was a 5v5. In this game, I feel like a split push could do well, but at the same time, it's got a Rammus with a global ultimate from Senna plus Jinx's global ultimate. So really, my focus on this kind of game would be making sure that we don't reach the point where you have to make the decision. Okay. But here, as I see you go in, that's what I'm talking about. We killed someone, now let's take an objective. They're going in, and now we should peel, but be careful. Perfect. Now we go to the dragon. So like, if that's exactly what we're looking for. A pick when they're not connected, and avoiding the 5v5s through those picks or splitting. That's what you're looking for. So I think that right there is a good microcosm for what you should look for to win this game. Okay. Like now they've got one dead and one respawning. There's a cannon wave down here. So let's set up a nice slow push. Again, I think a term you can just write down. And YouTube, how to slow push. You can just make sure that you have total wave control, watching your waves, watching their waves. But there's a cannon wave here. I would always just eat that. That's nice gold, nice experience. And then reset for top lane pushing, in your case. Double cannon wave, everyone's ARAM. You push this, you reset, you go top lane, you eat this. You watch this plant being hit here on the minimap. Be very careful about being collapsed on. Your ult will be up again soon, so you can shove this double cannon wave, roam down the river, and if there's someone out of position because you're knocked in and fed, you press R and you kill them. That was quick, but it doesn't make sense.
It does. No, it does.
Yeah.
Kind of looking at it right now, I'm thinking to myself, why did I back here? I could have just, soaked up that bottom wave, had it pushing. Instead, I back and I pick up Tiamat?
A farmer's choice. A little late for it, though, no?
Yeah. I think at this point I was kind of going with that mental side of, okay, do I now have to become the split pusher? Because some of these fights now get really wonky for the team.
It's just 50-50 stat checking. That's why I don't like it. Like see at this one, because Rammus is dead, your Blood Race is doing a lot of work on the Maokai. But at the same time, he's also got Grievous Runes. Like, you could easily Baron here. If Kai'Sa wasn't dead, you could easily Baron, but you could probably Baron anyway.
I think at this point, if I remember, the Alistair called for Baron, I pinged that I do not have Smite.
Yeah. I'm looking at the whole picture. If Kai'Sa's alive and you have Smite, 10,000 times out of 10,000 you do this Baron. Without smite, it's really risky, and I would not coin flip it.
Yeah, I
You
wasn't
just
a
don't
fan
do
of
it.
it. The rest of the team went in, so I almost said I need to.
So what you're looking to do in this thing to close is to make sure that when you do this, if they rotate to collapse, you pull off. Don't finish it. Just use it as a bait, force them into a situation where you can take advantage of the fact that they're split and have multiple people dead. Because look, these two just respawned. So what you're looking to do is make sure that you can actually... You're kind of low on HP, but you're looking to basically just kill this, you know?
Okay, yeah, and this just...
Yeah, you should have stopped immediately. As soon as Senna shows up, you stop, you pull off. But again, like, we shouldn't be in this situation. Ah, she's still with ult!
Yep.
The Rammus didn't even get it.
Nope. And this just a lot of infighting starts now.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why didn't you smite? I didn't have it. Why didn't you tell us?
Yeah, but it's up now. It's up now, huh? Your smite's up now. Why couldn't you smite then? That's the thing.
That's the exact, we'll call it, conversation that was had right now.
I've had it. Yeah, I think that pretty much, like, those three situations sum up your game in terms of the fighting. You know, when you take a fight that's 5v5 against a 5v5 comp, you're gonna lose. If you are splitting at the wrong time like you did here, they're gonna lose. If you don't split, you don't create the pressure, so your team can lose. If you do the Baron at the wrong time, you can, you can see the trend.
Yeah.
But for me, it's very heavily on this play. Here was despite all the errors where you could have taken mid-game control by ganking this guy and then taking Herald, taking this, and I think if you do that, it just puts you in a better situation to carry the game later on, so that you don't have to make such difficult decisions, because the decision isn't, guys, we're kind of behind. Do I split? Do I team fight? It's just, we're fed. Every time there's a fight, we win.
Understood.
You know?
And yeah, my feed just crashed for a split second. You're talking about the one where I ended up Nocturne ulting Heimerdinger from the top, so I should have probably gone for my own red, killed him, then gone to Herald, correct?
Yeah, that was your mid-game swing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.